Pasco County breaking news. Today I want to tell you about two moms who have turned their grief into action. In Pasco County, a mom named Tammy Plaxtis lost her 29-year-old son Dylan in 2020. Dylan had been diagnosed with schizophrenia in his 20s and had experimented with drug use, but at this point in time, it's reported that he was doing better. He was living in a group home, holding down a job, and staying clean. But one night he decided to use some cocaine, and what he didn't know is that it had been laced with fentanyl. The amount in his system was described as smaller than a grain of salt, but it was enough to end his life. And his mom, Tammy, could have kept her pain private, but instead she started putting up billboards across Tampa Bay in places like Del Mabry and Swan and in Sun City Center with Dylan's face and a message of warning. One sign said, "Hidden in so-called recreational drugs, fentanyl steals loved ones." And she'll often stand beside those signs, handing out Narcan and sharing her son's story, because if even one family avoids the nightmare she lives with, it's worth it. Another mom, Sharon Roberts, lost her son, Sean, in 2018. He took what he thought was a Xanax, just one pill, but it was laced with fentanyl and he never woke up. Fentanyl poisoning doesn't just happen to addicts. It happens to everyday people, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters who think that they're taking something else. And this fight continues to be extremely important because nationally, fentanyl is still the leading cause of overdose deaths. In 2023, about 69% of all drug overdose deaths in the United States involved fentanyl or other synthetic opioids. And in 2024, overdose deaths finally fell by about 27% compared to the year before, but fentanyl is still the main driver. And here in Florida, it's a similar story. In 2023 alone, fentanyl was responsible for almost 5,000 deaths, making it the single most common cause of overdose death in the state. So what can you do? First, assume that any pill or powder not from a pharmacy could contain fentanyl. Second, carry naloxone. It's over the counter now and it saves lives. And third, share these stories. Share this post or stories like this, because fentanyl isn't just statistics. It's people like Dylan and Sean and so many others whose lives have been cut short. So let's do our best to honor these moms and every other family member who's lost a loved one to an overdose. There are options for help with substance abuse, both in Pasco County and in Tampa Bay as a whole. So please seek those out if you or somebody that you love is struggling. Make sure you're following along here for all your Pasco County news and updates. I'll see you next time.